See how flaky that is?
This is your destiny to be who you should be.
Once I wash the spinach,
You'll find
it
your guide. It's just your life. If you are it, it's time to begin. If you have it.
Okay, we are going to have our meat, or in this case fish, salmon, which is, we'll talk about meat and fish in other segments, but primarily the salmon is a great thing because of the omega-3 fatty acids, which are very important and we don't get in a lot of other foods. Salmon is a great place to get those, so that's why we're having the salmon. And then we're going to round out this meal. The veggies can stand on their own, basically. They can stand on their own. However, as a vegetarian meal. But in addition to the veggies, we can have either, we want a grain. I love pasta, but more on that later. But for now, we're going to concentrate on the grains. We're basically we're choosing between the brown rice, whole grain brown rice, and the quinoa. Quinoa is probably the healthier choice. It's considered a complete protein. More on that later. But brown rice is good as well. What I like to do, brown rice takes a while to cook, and also I like to use a broth to give it a little more flavor. Either a chicken broth, like a free-range chicken, a low-sodium broth, which I often get. Or in this case, I have some miso ginger broth. So that's what we're going to use, since that's what I have. And that's actually also good too. It gives it a whole different flavor. So we're going to so instead of water, we're going to put in the broth, and we're going to do a cup, because I'm going to cook a half cup. And this is going to be herbed brown rice. So we're going to make herbed brown rice. We're going to use the ginger miso broth instead of water. And the herbs, it's going to be herbed, and then we're going to have butter as well, but we're also going to use the scallion, as well as have a mix of herbs. It's basil, oregano, and parsley. So that's in the fridge. We'll put all of that in toward the end of the cooking. Right now we're just going to have the rice cook in the broth with a little bit of butter. And it's going to take about 35-40 minutes for that to cook. So we're going to get that started right now. So while we are waiting for the broth to boil, we're going to pour in we're doing a half a cup of rice. So we put in a cup of the broth, and now we're going to do a half a cup of the rice. We'll wait till it comes to a boil. We'll throw it in and then cover and let it simmer for like 35 to 40, more like 40 for my stove, more like 40 minutes. Okay, put some butter in, and now we're going to put the rice in, and we're going to turn this down to simmer. We're going to turn this down to simmer now. And we're going to cover it. Now our rice is almost done. It's close to being done. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the herbs to it now. It needs about 7-8 more minutes. So we're going to add the stuff now. So we're going to add the chives. And we're going to add the rest of the herbs. These are Italian herbs, and it's pre-packaged. It's fresh herbs, already chopped and ready to go. So we're going to put that in. And we're also going to get the broiler ready to go. All right. And broil it in this cast iron broiling pan. We're gonna spray it with some Pam, even though this isn't that great. It's, well, it's canola oil and coconut oil. Coconut oil is pretty cool. Canola oil, but we're gonna use it for now. The rice should be ready now. We're going to turn it off and set it aside so that we can make sauteed vegetables and salmon. So what we're going to do first is we're going to turn the skillet on for the vegetables, since that's about ready to go, so it can get nice and hot before we put our olive oil in. We have the stove heating. We are going to put in our olive oil. And we're actually going to use a generous amount since we have a lot that's going in here. Let that get a bit hot before we add our onions that we cut up earlier, our mushrooms that we chopped up earlier, as well as our habanero peppers and some of that garlic over there. Okay, so it's going to heat up just a little more. We're going to go ahead and add our onions. Our peppers. And our mushrooms. All right. We'll let those saute a minute before we add the garlic. So now we are going to add the garlic. And we're going to go ahead and put our one of these fillets in here to broil. We'll go ahead and do that. Get that going. Okay, we're going to sit that right there, and let's give it just a little bit of this on top. There we go. Okay, there we go. And into the broiler you shall go for about 10 minutes. Now, we're going to add our veggies. And, you know, it's a lot of them. They really cook down. You probably know that. So it's going to be overflowing initially, but eventually they're going to cook down. And when they do, we're going to add some seasonings. Let's not forget our lemon. Gonna cut that. You go ahead and squeeze some lemon in here. All right, this is cooking very well. We're going to add some more olive oil to our vegetables. And we're also going to add some sea salt. Okay. So now what we're going to do with this one is some olive oil in here. This. Put it back in. For a couple more minutes. The meal is just about done. So